chamber.
Okay, we are ready. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. At this time, I would like to acknowledge that we meet on the traditional land of Treaty 6 territory and acknowledge the diverse indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, such as Cree, Dene, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Lakota, Sioux, as well as Métis and Inuit, and now settlers from around the world. Adoption of the agenda. So, roll call. Councillor Wright.
Good evening.
Councillor Knack.
Good evening.
Councillor Principe.
Hello.
Councillor Stevenson.
Good evening.
Councillor Paquette.
Hello.
Councillor Tang.
Good evening.
Councillor Hamilton.
Good evening.
Councillor Rutherford.
Hello.
Councillor Salvador.
Hello.
Councillor Cartmel.
Good evening.
Councillor Rice.
Good evening.
And Councillor Jans. Okay, Mike will be joining us a little later, I guess. He is picking up kids. Adoption of the agenda. Councillor Hamilton.
Yeah, I'll move adoption of the April 12th City Council non-regular meeting.
Second.
Second by Councillor Rice. Please vote. Hello, August.
I'm a yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Mayor, we are just waiting for your vote.
My vote, I voted.
Oh, it did not show up for us on our
Really?
side.
Oh, I am yes.
Thank you, Mayor. We have all the votes.
Display the votes, please. That is carried. Any protocol items? Seeing none, can we select items for debate, please? No. Okay, why don't Edmonton Historical Board?
I would be happy to select that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Then Councillor Stevenson is selecting that. And Edmonton Youth Council, Councillor Salvador, right?
Yes.
Edmonton Transit Advisory, that is Councillor Rutherford, you're on that, right? ETA, yeah. I'm just picking names for selection. Women's Advisory Committee, Councillor Rice, right? All selected for you. Accessibility Advisory Committee, who's on that? Councillor, who wants to? Councillor Wright?
I'll select 5.4.
Councillor Wright.
5.5, please.
Councillor Wright, okay. All right, okay, then we go to vote on reports not selected for debate, which are none. Request to speak, none. Request for specific time on the agenda, none. Vote on bylaws not selected for debate, we don't have any. Reports to be dealt with at a different meeting. None. Request to reschedule. None. Public reports. All right. First item, 5.1. Edmonton Historical Board 2022 Annual Report and 2023 Work Plan. We'll go to Chair of the EHB. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Sohi and City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the Edmonton Historical Board's 2022 Annual Report. I apologize for not being there in person. My name is Steve Reese. I'm the chair of the board. 2022-23 was the second year since the reorganization of the board's committees and their areas of focus. This streamlining of work is realizing success with an enhanced emphasis on the council's mandate for the board to provide advice on historical issues and the city's built heritage. In my view, one of our main challenges this year has been the fact that the entire board, including myself as chair, are relatively new in their positions. Most of the board started their appointments in 2021 in the deepest part of the pandemic. We have only met once or twice in person, but have met many times virtually. We now have a better understanding of the issues, the processes that we utilize, the challenges that we face, and the opportunities in front of us. We have recently gone through a strategic planning session that drafted a strategic action plan that we will be reviewing at our next meeting. So I'm looking forward to the coming year with the Edmonton Historical Board, and I ask if anyone has questions regarding our annual report. I understand that you all have it.
Thank you so much, Chair Reeves. We also have with us, joining in the Chamber Hall, co-historian laureates, Cheryl Whiskey Jack, as well as Omar Yakub.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I pass it on to them if it's a good time for you.
Absolutely. They're just sitting down in there
Great.
in the chairs. All right, go ahead, please.
Good evening, Ogimal. Sohi, I call you Ogimal because you're our leader, and that's leader in my language. So if you ever see me online,
Is it Ogima?
Ogima.
Ogima.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And counselors. Thank you for having us here tonight. In this story, we began with over a century ago, Indigenous people welcomed Syrians to the prairies. During one of those early meetings, the newcomers attempted to trade using British sterling. The Indigenous people had no need for this currency. They suggested food instead, and a shared feast ensued. We are inheritors of that feast. Our stories come together in response to another group of Syrians that arrived in Edmonton in 2015. We began by welcoming these newcomers at the airport with Indigenous song, dance, and grew to realize that there was more to explore. As historian co-laureates, we have began meeting with the community at schools, universities, libraries, and public institutions. More than 20 public engagements have been held since we started, as well as work with through the arts. I want to draw your attention to a short video from Grace Martin Public School and listen to the song that the youth have recorded just for you. It is a song celebrating the many Indigenous place names that we have here in Edmonton.
We know to ask in a Cree word for the reserve. Remember the perfect space. Dakota is a special place. Earth is waking up for spring. We give thanks for everything. We're all treaty people. We're all treaty people. We're all treaty people. We're all treaty people. Made it cool as water. Candy ocean's beautiful. When they say the dairy, 12
That is so touching. Wow.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Omar.
Yeah.
As historical laureates, one of the many ways we come together has been through activating connection to culture and the sacred. As we explore the past, we see its relation to the present. One example of this is our discussions on encampments. Our discussion of encampments needs grounding in history, in understanding what home, community, and connection mean and have meant to people on this land and to people new to this land, and what it has meant to them for generations. We must build housing not on the basis of removing a problem from sight, but rather build housing grounded in the idea of what home has traditionally meant. Building without this understanding of what home means, without the sacred, without tradition, will continue to perpetuate the problems we see. As our communities face strife that makes them feel isolated, alone, and marginalized, we need to emphasize a history that is not rosy, but which has ideals worth striving for. Where are we going next? In the coming months, we're launching a threaded mural covering the buildings of Bent Arrow, Africa Center, MCC Thrift, and Islamic Family. This threaded mural will show stories of Treaty 6 and engaged community. We'll also be launching a podcast that explores how history, tradition, and spirituality can bring new solutions to intractable problems like security, housing, and justice. We'll continue to receive incredible submissions, reimagining what the Treaty 6 logo could look like. And there's a visual that we'll be sharing. And we will gather new prayers for the land and its people. We'll continue to engage and immerse ourselves in community. Thank you.
I think you had to scroll.
Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see some submissions. I'll just talk through some of this. This was a report that was shared with council, and so you can see a listing of some of the engagements, some of the photos, but the juicy stuff is a little bit lower. Yeah, keep on going. And so one of the activities we've been working on with community is reimagining what the Treaty 6 logo looks like. And if you think about a remix is something that honors the original song, but it makes it contemporary, right? And when we think about Treaty 6, we want people to see it as something present in the here and now, not something that is old, something that's present. And so what artists, youth, and others have been doing is creating their own remixes, and we'll scroll through some of the submissions. Some of these submissions are going to be turned into stickers that we'll share. Keep on going down. The last one's really breathtaking. They're all really neat when you read the stories. And right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's my favorite. The crown is on there, the Alberta rose is on there, of course, the maple leaf, the infinity symbol, forever and ever. Just so much symbolism in that one. But our submissions are coming from everyone. The ones that we see such passion and true beauty are the ones from the children, I find. They're just, they can grab onto this activity and just really run with it. So was that a Grace Martin one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids from Grace Martin, we've heavily engaged with them over our time. We've been out to see them, and we always have a lot of fun when we're with them. And that's our report.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Listening to those kids and listening to your presentation and the care and compassion that comes across, and the understanding and how kids are really grappling with these issues and celebrating our diversity and presence of Indigenous, being present on Indigenous land, and doing that in a way really gives us so much hope that our communities are going in the right direction. Thank you so much for that leadership. Really deeply appreciate that. Yeah, good.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Yeah, of course, questions now. Councillor Tank? Yeah. Councillor Stephen. Go ahead,
Thank you so
Constantine.
much. Can I ask questions to the co-laureates or?
You can ask
Anne?
questions to board laureates and to the chair, Reese, as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, to Omar and Cheryl, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And so proud of, Grace Martin from Wargadahio. And it was lovely to hear, their song and many familiar neighborhood names woven through. I think about the work you do, and it's so important for, to me, it's about narrative shaping and framing. And I think you brought up encampment, for example, and I think we saw some really important narrative. We spent full day yesterday talking about the narrative and how it's around connection to land, it's around transition to housing, and all of those things. And I think about the work of narrative shaping or paradigm changing. It's hard, and I'm curious, in your tenure so far, what have been some of the biggest challenge you faced in the story and in the work that you've been doing collectively?
I'll go. There hasn't been, actually. So we've been a lot of excitement when we were announced as co-laureates, and people have been reaching out to us pretty steadily. One of the things that we're learning, I think, from sharing our stories is that there's still so much that people don't know. And I think the difference between adults and children is that adults weren't taught, and so this story is new to them. And it's new. I think it's because of the way we're sharing it that it's not new, shameful. It's just new, and what can I do from here? And really generating a lot of excitement around how can we be a part of changing this narrative, not feeling so much shame about it. With the kids, it's just all love, nothing but this is the story they're getting from the times that their brains are shaping. And so it's very exciting to me to know that they're going to grow up into adults, youth, like we have here tonight, who are going to have this as their first story and be able to carry that through in the work that they do as they become citizens in this city. So that's very exciting to me. Did you want to add anything, Omar?
Yeah. No, I agree with what Cheryl said. I think it's been really wonderful seeing how much excitement there is. I think one of the areas where we have to grow and work on is engaging with additional communities, and really happy if counselors want to make introductions or have networks that they want us to engage.
That is a great suggestion. I'll certainly I'll keep that in mind. I think it's interesting you talk about kind of working with youth and working and I certainly hope that there are lessons there we can learn in the ongoing reconciliation work at the city with grown-ups too. And but I really appreciate those insights, and I really appreciate also being able to participate in some of the conversations you all have hosted and witnessing that excitement among my Edmontonians for your work. I have a really kind of a technical question for the chair, Reese, so I'm going to switch gears pretty sharply here. I was curious about, in 2022, there was no events, right? No, Steve, I've noticed that there was no expense for events, and but the same amount budget is still being requested for 2023, and I don't think I saw as much in the work plan itself, but just want to confirm that there are plans for more in-person gatherings, whether it's the plaque ceremony or whatnot.
Yes, we've got a historical plaque presentation planned for, I think it's in July. So that's,
Okay.
and of course it was partially due to the pandemic that we didn't fit. Anyway,
Right.
We're getting there. Thanks. Good question.
Yeah, no, that's great. Sorry, and back to Omar and Cheryl, how long can you remind me your term?
Oh, 1 more year.
1 more year. Okay, that's great. And then there's lots planned or lots in the works for that year, hey?
Say
Thank
that
you.
again? I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, no, just, good luck with all the things that's in the works
Oh,
for the,
thanks.
for the, for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank Counselor Stevenson.
Yes, thank you. Just want to echo my thanks for you both being here today and for the work that you're doing. I think the relationship building and storytelling you're doing in our community is so profound, and I am excited. What I'm excited for is, again, recognizing that your term will come to an end in a year, but just knowing how many seeds that you're planting and how those will continue to grow beyond that time. So thank you for that. I did want to turn to Steve for a moment. So I would just like to say, I think you acknowledge in the report that a huge portion of the membership is brand new, but I think that the board has been doing great work, and I really appreciate the leadership that you've brought to the table and how you have all navigated this as a new team. I think it certainly didn't show in terms of what you were able to accomplish. So thank you for your work on that.
Thank you, Em.
Yeah, I was so pleased to see the further outreach that you're doing with the Edmonton Heritage Council and building that relationship further. Have there been some conversations there just around strengthening some of the opportunities for the implementing some of the connections and exchanges action plans? Has that been a focus of the conversation, or just some more of that general relationship building at this point?
Yeah, we're going to get together in the coming months. We had something planned for March, but that fell through. So we are getting together and discussing our plans and looking at their plans and seeing how we can coordinate things together.
That's very exciting. I think there's great alignment and opportunities for that collaboration and working together. So thank you for that. This is a bit more philosophical, if I can geek out for a few minutes. Just wondering if the board is starting, because I didn't notice an explicit mention in the report itself, but just looking at some of the, right now we have some different eras of architecture, and we talk about the post-war era that takes us to 1970. But, shockingly, 1970 was 50 years ago. And so just wondering what the thinking is around some of the research or advice that you may be able to provide to council to preserve some of that, what I think is some of our most beautiful architecture from the 1970s and 80s. Recognizing that public perception might not be there in terms of the value of that architecture, but really ensuring that we don't go through another wave of loss of that built heritage.
Yeah, we feel the same way, that it is a very important part of our history. The buildings are certainly beautiful, and we are looking at different ways to look at the reasons for preserving them, for sure. And we will be passing on any advice that we can to the city council.
Great. I think thinking, and maybe going back to the idea of narrative and storytelling and how we connect that to the built form as well. I could see some great opportunities there. Just wanted also to thank you for the work that you're doing to align the work with the climate change piece. Just wondering if energy retrofits is something that the board is engaging with in terms of some of the federal programs, or is that getting a bit outside the management? Just thinking about some of that education that you're doing with heritage homeowners and building owners, if there's opportunities for that information sharing, or if there are resources that the city can be providing to you to share as well.
Yeah, I'm certainly hoping so, because the climate change issues with preserving the buildings, there definitely is a connection there. So we are just finishing up a report that we will share with council, and hoping that will give us more reasons to preserve buildings in Edmonton.
Great. And I think exploring, the supports that can be provided as well in terms of, ensuring that those buildings can be retrofitted to be safe or accessible and climate resilient as well. Well, that's great. Thank you again so much for your work on this board and to the whole board for everything that you do in our community. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Councillor Wright.
Thank you very much. My question is for Steve as well. I see on the work plan, some of your ongoing initiatives include the rezoning of, or monitoring rezoning of applications. Have you been and I know you're a volunteer board and time is limited, but I'm just wondering, have you had any involvement or any input into the zoning bylaw renewal? Like
Yeah, we certainly have had some connection to it, but as you said, the time is limited. But we certainly hear about it from the planning team that meets with us at each of our meetings. So we are connected that way.
Okay, that's all I just wanted to know, is that if that connection was there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Wright. So that concludes the questions to three of you. Thank you so much once again for your leadership. Chair Rees, please do convey our appreciation to the rest of the board. We really appreciate your guidance and your leadership. And Cheryl and Omar, thank you so much for once again inspiring us to always look for to do better. Thank you so much for that. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Stevenson.
I would be happy to move, excuse me, that we receive this report for information.
Thank you.
Second.
Oh, says Councillor Knack, thank you. All right. Anyone, we have a motion on the floor to receive it for information. Anyone to speak? Seeing none, let's vote. Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Display the votes, please. That is carried. Now we go on to our second item. Edmonton, City of Edmonton Youth Council 2022 Annual Report and 2023 Work Plan. And I'm going to click on the report here. Just give me 1 second. Here we go. We have with us Youth Council members, Jyotio, Surkanti, and you'll be making a presentation as well. And introduce yourself, please.
My name is Ritu Arvikar.
Ritu. All right, go ahead. Over to you. Make your presentation.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you both.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to the City of Edmonton Youth Council's annual report presentation. So, before we begin, we'll just introduce ourselves one more time. Next slide, please. So my name is Ritu Arvikar. I am the Executive Internal Chair of Council this year, and
my name is Achita Surukanti, and I'm the Executive External Chair of Council.
Next slide, please. So, what is CYC? Well, we are a council composed of 20 voting committee members as well as a number of youth at large. Next slide. And our mission is to educate and empower youth to provide meaningful input and to take action on local issues in municipal politics. Next slide. So, as you can see, almost 1/10 of our population is comprised of youth. So this not only drives us to keep going and fulfill our mission, but it gives us a reason to do the work that we do on a daily basis. Next slide, please. So at the start of the term, our voting committee members came together to plan strategic priorities. Next slide. So we had 4 main strategic priorities as well as a number of overarching values, which include Indigenous awareness, engagement, data analysis, social media, trainings for the CYC members, and a lot more. Next slide.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about, in addition to the strategic planning, at the beginning of the term, we also changed a few things, including moving to a co-chair model. So me and Ritu are acting as co-chairs, and our subcommittee chairs are also acting as co-chairs. We've also moved to hybrid General Assembly meetings, so youth can interact with each other face-to-face, but they also have the option to attend our monthly meetings online for accessibility. Slide. And then in terms of some numbers, we have 113 youth working on CYC currently, including 19 VCMs, or voting committee members. We've engaged with 12 organizations so far, so this includes people that, or organizations that have come to present to CYC or organizations that our initiatives have collaborated with. And then we have 10 ongoing initiatives within our 3 subcommittees. Slide. So I'm going to start with the policy subcommittee. Here we have 3 initiatives that are ongoing. We have the urban planning and information report, the food insecurity or the food waste and insecurity report, which are both working on compiling data into the report. And then we also have the anti-racism initiative, and they are holding summits right now for youth across Edmonton to help them more actively practice anti-racism.
Slide. So our project subcommittee currently is working on a youth community involvement webpage, which has a number of resources and opportunities for youth to access on our website. In addition to that, we have an urban planning info clips initiative, as well as a STEM workshop coming on later in the term. Lastly, the project subcommittee is also doing a continued initiative from last year, which is a Clean Up Edmonton initiative to clean up certain parks around the city. Slide. And our internal subcommittee is mainly responsible for running our council's social media, as well as doing school visits. And so basically they go to different schools around Edmonton and present about what CYC is as a way to garner engagement to council. And lastly, they also have a demographics team which gathers demographics data on council as a way to use it in recruitment. Slide.
And then in terms of council reports, we have an internal report regarding demographics and some recommendations that we have in terms of officially moving to the co-chair model and also changes to recruitment. And then for CYC-led reports, we have our food waste and security and urban planning information reports. Slide. Okay, and then in terms of where we are going, I want to talk a little bit more about the internal and project side. Slide. So here are some of our upcoming events and initiatives. We have our Clean Up Edmonton initiative starting soon. And we also have 11 days until the voting committee member application closes. So we're really trying to get the word out there for youth to apply to that position. In May, we have our member well-being event, and in June, we have our STEM workshop event. We also have a lot of other stuff that are happening that's going to be happening in the next few months, so keep a lookout for that. Slide. So in terms of how you can get involved as City Council, you can attend and support our events, consult with CYC on matters of discussion. We had several youth council members attend the budgeting session with Mayor Sohi and councillors Salvador and Jans in the fall. You can also invite CYC to be part of collaborations with other groups. You yourself can attend our General Assembly meetings. And finally, invite youth in your ward to apply. Like I said, we have 11 days until our voting committee member applications close, and we're trying to get as many applications in for that as possible. Slide. So with that, that's the end of our annual report presentation, and we'll be happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you so much, Jyotia and Ritu, for your presentation and your work and the leadership that you're providing, not only to youth, but also your guidance you're providing and advice you're providing to us, that we are reflecting youth voices and youth needs and desires in the decisions that we make. So we really appreciate that. Councillor Principe.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just had a couple of questions about what I read in the report, some barriers being not being able to go to the schools during school hours because you yourselves are busy during those times. So I can see that being a concern or an issue, a barrier. Is there any way that, you know, it could be a part of your curriculum even to be going to the schools? Do you know? Is this maybe something to speak to school trustees about? Or also, I was thinking, you know, the school visits, I read that the school visits are arranged by just cold calling or emails, maybe going through the school trustees. Is that something you've tried before? Do you know?
So we do usually go through our contacts that we've collected with the schools directly, or if we have a city council or a CYC member that goes to that school, then it becomes a lot easier to set up. We haven't tried going through the trustees yet because that tends to be another loophole to go through in terms of reaching the schools. And then in terms of the barrier of youth not being able to go to these presentations because they themselves have school or other commitments, we're trying to see if we can set things up after school hours, during lunch hours, or trying to see if we can just any ways that we can schedule around that in terms of that barrier.
Excellent, that's great. And I know that you go to junior highs and high schools because that is like the age range of youth council, but is it possible to go into elementary schools just to get, start at a young age to get them interested and maybe possibly in the future joining youth council?
Yeah, we have actually presented to a couple of elementary schools. Last year I know for sure we did, and yeah, so we have done that in the past, and we'll definitely be continuing that. And we're also working on finding different ways to advertise to different universities. We have a lot of students from the University of Alberta, but we don't have a lot in terms of other universities or colleges in Edmonton, so that's something that we're looking into as well.
That's great. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Principe. Councillor Salvador.
Great, thank you so much. Ritu, Akshatha, thank you for that presentation. That was excellent. So maybe just a few additional questions or things that you might want to expand on. I'm wondering, when I look at some of the excellent work that the policy subcommittee is doing around food insecurity, urban planning, anti-racism, and of course, those are all areas that are of interest to council as well. And I think about urban planning, there's a lot of stuff going on with zoning bylaw renewal or district planning. Can you talk about how youth council is helping inform some of those larger conversations that are happening at the council table as well?
Yeah, so in addition to collecting our own data and voices, our own information from youth across Edmonton and compiling that into a report, we've also collaborated with groups within the city. We had a group come talk about the zoning bylaw renewal at one of our General Assembly meetings, and we've participated in discussion and collaborated with these different groups so that we can have an impact in the grander scheme and on specific issues like the zoning bylaw. And those are kind of the avenues that we take in terms of having an impact on those issues.
Yeah. That's great. And do you have any, I guess, additional thoughts or recommendations for how we might, ensure that youth voices are at the table when we're having these important discussions and dialogues? It sounds like for specific issues and topics, there's presentations that are brought to youth council. Any other ways that you think council can bring your voices to the table?
Yeah, I think, just physically bringing us into the room, I think even into the discussion. I know especially with the community safety well-being response, there was a lot of collaboration that was done with youth council and city councilors and with Mayor Sohi, and I think that was a really effective strategy. And then also on a broader scale, just encouraging youth to apply to be on the City of Edmonton Youth Council or to participate in our surveys when we are collecting information or we are collecting input from youth. I think that those are really important times when youth can really make sure that their voices are heard.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that. And I think that's a good note for all of us around the table. We can help spread the word around the applications that are closing April 23rd, it was, right?
Yes. Our youth at large applications registration will be happening in the summer too. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Salvador. I'll go to Councillor Tang next.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think the great presentation as always, and I'm really curious about the move towards co-chairship. Can you just distinguish between the internal and your external role?
Yes, of course. So I guess internally, or I'll start with external. So Achita is more in contact with some of our admin members or other organizations that we are in contact with. So essentially, conversation that happens outside of CYC in comparison to just the members within council. And as internal chair, I'm responsible for overseeing, for example, like the trainings that happen for committee members, as well as working closely alongside our subcommittee chairs, etc. However, the two roles do overlap sometimes in a pretty beneficial way, which is one of the reasons that we did move to the co-chair model, which kind of allows fluidity between our positions and our roles and allows us to decide what each one of us will be doing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's I think that's really thoughtful and very impressive answer. I appreciate that. You know, I think in the past year, really seeing some really great work and collaboration between the different advisory committees, like the Youth Council and ARAC. Um, and uh, and I'm wondering about kind of other examples of that kind of collaboration with other advisory committees. In particular, you know, a few weeks ago, we had the presentation from the Transit Advisory Committee about the youth perception of transit. And I can't remember, but I'm curious to hear from you how much of that input or collaboration you've had on that project. Because I see linkage there on transit safety issue related to anti-racism, related to community safety and well-being, like you just outlined.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your question. Were you referring to the Youth ID presentation?
No, this was a youth perception of transit safety report. That was, this is a policy discussion. Transit safety is really relevant conversation right now. And I was, I just want to hear from you how much Youth Council was involved in that project. Was there any inter-committee collaboration? Since the topic itself touches on some of the other issues that your council have already been working on, like anti-racism and community safety and well-being.
Okay, so in terms of the collaboration, I will let Achita speak to that if she has something to add, but in terms of transit safety and Youth Council's involvement within it, we are making our public transit safety reports, as well as, I guess I mentioned that earlier, we had a Youth ID presentation at our last General Assembly, which kind of discussed how youth feel taking transit and how safe they feel. Of course, that conversation was more particularly under the umbrella of carrying identity cards. However, it was applicable to taking transit. And I think from there, we have been able to take contacts, and we are going to work together in the future to give them our input and talk about how youth feel taking transit. But would you like to add?
Yeah, I think in terms of specifically the Transit Advisory Board and their report, I'm not sure exactly how much collaboration we had in terms of youth input on that, but I do know that we have collaborated with several organizations within Edmonton, and including Paths for People and other organizations that are that work within the transit and urban planning space. And I think that I can definitely go ahead and look back and talk to my initial leads in terms of specifics if that is something that you want to follow up with me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my point there is simply that, I think that would be a great opportunity, recognizing that you both separate committees are kind of talking about similar, some of the similar issues, and I just continue to encourage ongoing, intercommittee collaboration, because I thought the outcome of the past policy work has been really strong. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Tang. Councillor Stevenson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to you both for your presentation and all the work that you do. It's very, very exciting stuff. I think that the type of engagement that you're creating with Edmonton's youth is again very exciting, really, really important. Something that's always on my mind is, I think, one of the most important ways that we can be engaged, and that's through voting and through taking part in elections as they come forward, being a huge cornerstone of the democratic process. Wondering, maybe just as a first question, what sort of barriers you hear from youth that you may be speaking to in terms of their level of engagement, particularly at the municipal level, where voter turnout across all age groups is very, very low. And just if that is an area that Youth Council has explored or has interest in, or are there other partnerships that we can look to for that?
Yeah, so I can speak to that. In terms of some barriers in terms of the election process, I think, I guess one big thing, as a side, is that a lot of youth on Youth Council are not old enough to vote, and so that's definitely, that's a little bit of a different issue. But some other barriers include, I guess, just the timing of the election and having classes in school, and I think also some of the things that we've done in terms of Youth Council to support voting. We held a mayoral forum before our municipal election, or like the most previous municipal election. We worked with the the University of Alberta Students' Union and a couple of other groups to hold that, and I think that I think the big point there is just to make sure that youth are informed, they have the opportunity to engage with the candidates in the election, and I think that when they are engaged, they're more likely to go out and vote, and I think that just making that really accessible is a big thing that we've tried to do on Youth Council, and I think that about covers it in terms of the election.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and I think it's work. As I say, it's not youth. I think all age groups in Edmonton. We have a low voter turnout for municipal elections, so that's great feedback. And thinking about how we can build on the networks and the work that you've done to help that, and appreciate your response, and we'll definitely reflect on that further. But thank you again both so much for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Councillor Knack.
Thank you, Mayor Sohi, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your incredible work. I miss Youth Council, going to the meetings. It's so much fun. I got to come to the next one. You say you tell us we can come, so I should do that. I'll make sure. It's the first Wednesday still, right, of the month? Okay. Yes. Mike, are you going to send me a link back there? You want to send me? Yeah, I'll make sure I do that. Thank you. No, I really appreciate all your work as per usual, and like truly seeing the number of members that are involved now. I think you had 113. You said in your presentation. That feels like the highest I think I've ever seen it, and that's a testament to the work that you're doing of getting more and more people involved. So back to a little bit of that question, like be really proud of how involved and how connected you're getting people, because that's incredible. That's and I imagine that's only going to continue to grow as you continue to spread the word and continue to engage with. So that's really cool to see. Just a few real simple questions. Curious, you mentioned, and I know Youth Council uses Instagram a lot. I just want to ask a bit about different social media. I know in the city now we're not allowed TikTok on our city phones anymore. But I'm curious, are you looking at branching out into other social media, TikTok in particular? Are you able to do that, even though, I know we can't use city devices can't have TikTok, but all of your devices probably can, and our personal devices can. Are you looking at other methods of communication to try to engage folks?
Yeah, we're definitely looking into it, and we've definitely had conversations about branching it onto new platforms like TikTok. We've actually started posting more Instagram Reels.
I saw the last one. It was a good one.
So just kind of, I guess, trying to work with short form content on a platform that we're familiar with is kind of the first step, and we're working on even potentially expanding our social media reach to other platforms.
Fantastic.
I think I'd just like to add that, at the start of the year when we had elected our new chairs for our internal committee, we definitely looked into different methods of different types of social media, but one of the main things that we wanted to do was just maintain the ethics of youth council as well, and just the other thing is maintaining those social media accounts is also a lot of work on the members of our youth council. So we try to do the best we can in the platforms that we already have, as Ejida said, like the reels on Instagram rather than just posts. But we have explored it in the past. We might still continue to.
Excellent. And with that, I was going to ask just a little bit about Twitter, which I know isn't typically what the 13 to 23-year-olds are using, but it is a platform that's fairly engaged Edmontonians use, and there's an opportunity to maybe make sure that even though you might not be speaking to that demographic, if you have a message to share or something that you're working on, I know that one hasn't been used as much over the years, and I think even more recently, I don't know if it's been used much in the last sort of couple of years, but I'm curious as to your thoughts on how do you balance, again, recognizing you're all volunteers, you already got very limited time, but trying to use those tools to connect with others who should know about the work that you're doing and know the perspective of youth council, even if they're not part of that demographic. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we definitely tried to balance the two demographics of reaching youth, but also reaching people that we want youth voices to be carried to. And I think that our Twitter or our LinkedIn are definitely the platforms where we reach the latter more, whereas in terms of Instagram, or if we were potentially to open a TikTok account, that those would be geared more towards youth. I think we have been using Twitter throughout the years, potentially not as much as we could be, and I think that especially this year with some of the things that were happening on Twitter, we did take a little bit of a break as youth
Probably
council.
wise too.
Yeah. So but we definitely are interested in making sure that we balance both of those interests and continue to use the platform that we have on all of our various social media, because I think Twitter actually gets more interaction than Instagram does in terms of our platforms. So.
Cool. Excellent. Well, again, thanks for all your work. It's wonderful to see. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Now, Councillor Stevenson, can you take the chair, please?
I have the chair.
Thank you. I want both of you to know, and your members, other colleagues to know, that the session that we did with you on seeking your input into the budget, that Councillor Jans and Councillor Salvador and I attended, I want you to know that that session influenced some of my decisions on council during budget. What we heard from you, what your aspirations were for the city, and what kind of decision you wanted us to take, what kind of areas that you wanted us to invest in, like public transit, climate change, housing, different modes of transportation. I wanted you to know that was meaningful for me and helped me reaffirm some of the commitments, but also think differently about some of those ideas, right? So please convey that to the people who attended. Would love to engage with more opportunities, maybe now communicating what we have done through the budget, and seek your input into the future decisions. So if there are opportunities for us, council, to engage, so please do let us know. But I wanted you to know that your efforts do help us in our decision making, and sometimes help us change our mind too. Right? So I do have one question though. It must be frustrating for you that you are encouraging so many people to participate during the election, to go and vote, but you can't vote yourself, right? When you're so engaged, you're so intelligent and so well informed, right? So any comments around I know Councillor Stevenson was alluding to that. What maybe needs to change. I know we don't have that ability to change. Maybe the voting age has to change from 18 to maybe 16 or 15. I don't know. Right? Have you had any discussions around that at the youth council?
Yeah, I think the conversation around the voting age, it's kind of an ongoing discussion, especially on the youth council. It's very relevant, and it comes up every single election. I think in terms of youth, what I personally, and I think a lot of members of CYC, or even just youth in general in the community, I think a lot of us get involved in other ways, such as with canvassing or volunteering for candidates in our area, or even just talking to people that we know that can vote, and trying to convey our voices that way is kind of the extent that we can do in terms of participating in the election. But I also think that involvement is really valuable as well, and I think that that's definitely like a huge way that youth at least can get involved in the election.
Yeah, I know your influence extends beyond voting, right? No, but itself, like if I really wanted to vote, can't vote, right? It's just frustrating, right? Okay. All right. Now, thank you so much once again for all the work that you have been doing and your leadership and shaping the future of our city. Yeah. Cool. Councillor, I'll take the chair back, and I'll go to Councillor Salvador.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to move receive information.
Thank you. We need seconder.
Second?
Councillor Stevenson seconded that. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Anyone to speak? Please vote.
We have all the votes.
Sorry, display the votes, please. That is carried. Okay, now next we go to Edmonton Transit Service Advisory Board 2022 Annual Report and 2023 Work Plan. Okay, we are joined by Chair Giselle General virtually, right?
Yes, Mayor, that is correct. Hello.
Okay, and the vice chairs, Michelle Peters-Jones and Srina Tang will be also in attendance virtually. All right. Giselle, go ahead, please.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I would just like first to greet everyone good evening to our city council and also our my fellow agencies, boards, and commission members. Again, my name is Giselle General, and for tonight, I will be providing a verbal report on the Edmonton Transit Service Advisory Board's annual report and work plan. Before I explain a few details, I would like to first give some context with some of the timelines in our documents. As mentioned by the former chair last year, we did not have our usual annual planning retreat in February 2022. We usually have it at the time of the year because of the circumstances within the board. We had 5 board members that were departing and 5 returning, so we figured it won't be effective. So we decided to continue with the existing activities we had at the time. And then we decided, after listening to feedback from other departing and incoming board members, we decided to have our retreat in September of 2022. So that's why in the documents, our work plan covers the 12-month cycle between the 2 annual retreats. So it is, in this case, September 2022 to August 2023. But to follow the timeline of the annual reporting, our annual report covers the work from March 2022 to February 2023. So I just want to give that context ahead of time. So regarding the details, last year we had 5 new board members, which meant that we had a total of 10 board members instead of the 12 that we typically have. So we had to deal with some challenging realities with our capacity. And during the year, we also had a resignation and a request for a temporary leave But despite all of this, I am so happy that all of the board members returning and incoming worked really hard and were engaged right from the beginning. ETSAB had a very productive year, I would say, where we had 12 regular board meetings, fulsome discussions, and opportunities to learn, raise concerns, and provide feedback through formal and informal means. As of the submission of the report, which was a couple months ago, we completed work on 2 subcommittees. That was on financial sustainability and youth safety and security on transit. And work on the first 2 topics that were selected after September were ongoing. And as of April, so in just the next few weeks, the work on these 2 committees is going to be completed. These topics were on budget and on mobility and accessibility in Edmonton winters. Throughout our meetings as well, we provided feedback on transit-related matters as they come up at the agenda, and our councillor liaison, Councillor Rutherford, brought our perspectives forward during these meetings as appropriate. And whenever city administration had attended our meetings and conducted presentations and consultations in our regular meetings, so we provided input there as well. And for the most part, they were well received and much appreciated. As you can see in the work plan, like I mentioned, we have the 4 topics chosen, and the work for the first 2 is underway. And we look forward to submitting and getting them approved soon, hopefully by the end of this month. And we are very much looking forward to working on the 2 additional committees, or I think the terminology moving forward would be working groups, but the topics would be the evaluation of the Community Outreach Transit Team, so COT, and on ridership improvement strategies. And we look forward to getting started right after onboarding the 3 brand new members of the board. And in terms of how we have been conducting our work, while all of our meetings are virtual, access through the YouTube live stream makes it accessible for anyone who would like to attend and watch. And we're also working on resuming valuable activities pre-COVID, such as the biannual lunch meeting with City Council. We had one last October, and the board members really loved it. None of them had attended one of these before, because I am the only pre-COVID board member who is still around. So they really appreciated that meeting, the graduate student research placement that we have, and reigniting or forging strong partnerships with the other agencies, boards, and commissions with the city whose work is closely related to us. Just as a summary, I'm very honored and proud of the enthusiasm, diligence, and hard work that the board members demonstrate as part of ETSAB. We would not be able to perform our duties as an advisory board without the support of our admin support, so Mark and Meg, of course, Councillor Rutherford, the Office of the City Clerk, and other city admin staff. So just want to take a moment to express our gratitude. And we look forward to another year of serving Edmontonians by giving feedback that will benefit transit users and the city as a whole. Thank you so much. And whenever you're ready, then I'm ready for a question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giselle. Questions, colleagues? Let's stand up here. Here we go. Councillor Rutherford.
Yes, thank you. When I read your report, first of all, it's funny because you're in it all the time and you don't step back and say, wow, this group's done so much. One thing that I noticed that was missing that you didn't really give credit for was all of the work that you and other board members put into input to me to support the budget, similar to what we just acknowledged with the Youth Council. I know, we highlighted many decisions that were related to transit that were going to be part of the 4-year budget discussion. And I know many ETSAB members worked tirelessly on a very tight timeline to try to provide some insights into that. So I didn't see that in the report, and I wanted that to be reflected to my colleagues to know that they really did do that great work. And I guess the last question that I have for you is, what do you think, do you have any feedback for us as council on how we're doing on our decisions on transit? Anything that you would like to say about the direction we're going with transit, or where you'd like to see that go in the future as a chair and on behalf of the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Regarding on your first comment, the reason why it wasn't included in the report is because the work is not yet done. We are finalizing a document to give feedback on the decisions that took place in December. I know it felt like a while ago, but we are finalizing that document that will be approved in the upcoming board meeting. And I believe we were recommended to report on subcommittee work once it's completed. So it will be in next year's, but I do appreciate you taking the time to acknowledge the efforts that the teams have done so far. Regarding the decisions of council and the reactions of our fellow board members at SAB, one thing I appreciate with them is that they acknowledge the nuance and the complications of the decisions. So while there is definitely some desire for certain decisions to be made, or more action, I suppose, more deliberate and obvious action to be undertaken, let's say, when it comes to the hydrogen buses and carbon budgeting and even safety. They're able to, mention that these are important, and also understand that if they're not implemented right away, it's not immediately because council doesn't care. It's that there's a lot of circumstances that affect. So I hope that I think that summarizes the sentiments of the board from my observation. Yeah.
Yeah, and can you speak a little bit to some of the work you've done in outreach with other advisory committees?
Yes, absolutely. So for context also, I have to admit that we had a bit of capacity issues in the beginning of May, mainly because we were a board of 10 and then became a board of 9. So I admit that I was first term chair. So I was a little bit torn in different directions as far as prioritization, and onboarding 5 board members in a way that is meaningful and engaging was a big priority to me. After the new board members were a little bit more settled because of our earlier retreat in September, we realized that we have gaps as far as the partnerships that we used to have. Like, we had a very great line of communication with Death Advisory Group and Accessibility Advisory Committee, and I was working on reconnecting, and there were some delays and whatnot. And as far as the other committees like WAVE and Youth Council, partnerships are identified on an ad hoc basis. And when the chair of a subcommittee determines it is appropriate to reach out, that's when they do reach out to this committee. So that's how we have approached it. And we will continue to evaluate that so that it would be hopefully more seamless in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. That's it for my questions.
Thank you, Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Stevenson.
Yeah, really appreciate it, and want to echo my thanks for the work that you and the board are doing on this. Transit is so important, and really value the input you provide. I wanted to just dig in a little bit further on the report for the COT evaluation. So certainly a program that I'm really interested in, and I know that our city staff are undertaking a program review of that as well. Just wondering what your initial thoughts were on that approach, and just sort of how it can complement that other evaluatory work that's going to be ongoing.
So regarding the COT report, the intention for the future subcommittee to do the evaluation of COT, I'm actually just thinking back to the retreat. I have to dig up my information again and ask the people who suggested it what is their intention for having this committee, because I know there's already been a lot of positive changes that are being implemented. So are they going to evaluate that, or are they going to dig up some recent or semi-recent historical information and evaluate that? So I know that's not a very complete answer. My apologies, but
No.
yes, it's something that I need to like work on once I guess I get my thoughts straight and organized for our future work.
Very, very fair. You certainly have enough on your plate and lots going on, and so consider that more of an opportunity that I think there could be some great chances for collaboration with the internal teams, and certainly look forward to what the committee can use to enhance and enrich that work that's underway.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very fortunate that since we have a positive and ongoing relationship with ETS staff, including the branch manager, Carrie Hutton McDonald, she is willing and eager and available to provide help. So we have that reassurance already, which is fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for the work that you're doing and for the report today.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Mayor Sohi. I would like to say thank you, Chair Ms. General, and for your presentation, and thank you for this committee and doing the great work and to provide some advice or some advisory function and to our city on this important topic. Specifically, last year in 2022 in March, the presentation from this board regarding the women and transit. So that is a really good presentation and from this board provided to our council. I want to acknowledge that. And by looking at the work plan for 2023, can you let us know a little bit more about as a follow-up and specifically and for the women and then transit and then that safety and security piece and in how that's reflect in our 2023 work plan. So I do see lots of good work actions and items and in the work plan, for example, youth, safety and security, and also another piece about the death. And that is another piece. So I would like to learn a little bit more about women and related to the transit safety and then security. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that there's a great opportunity for this to be mentioned again and discussed in greater detail in one of the two upcoming subcommittees we're working on, which covers user experience. I believe the last time that ETSAB had a report on that topic was at least 6-7 years ago, definitely before my time. And I think it's actually a good thing to have another report that is on one hand quite broad, because user experience can cover any journey of the transit experience regardless of which vehicle or mode of transit you take. And it also covers, or it's supposed to be a broad coverage of different types of demographics. But I think as the subcommittee members finalize the terms of reference, I think there is an opportunity there to dedicate some time to follow up on previous reports. Have certain recommendations been done, and how does that reflect on user experience of transit users in the present time? So at least that's how I envision it. I will definitely make a note of this, of course, when the subcommittee members decide officially launch the work in the next couple of months. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my question.
Thank you, Councillor Rice. Councillor Tang.
Yeah, thank you so much, Giselle, for the presentation and for the work that you and your committee always does. I wanted to build on that thread from Councillor Rutherford about intercommittee collaboration. I really appreciate the context, and I know you're all very community-minded, proactive people, and I remember when I think was Azora who presented at the accessibility committee the presentation. I thought it was really excellent. The conversation was rich, and I just thought how beautiful that collaboration is. So I encourage you to continue that spirit. On that, I was wondering if you can say a little bit more about the DAS advisory group. I see it's still it's unfilled, but you do have a liaison on the AAC, I was wondering if you can just distinguish kind of the two roles there. And given that the DAS advisory group is still unfilled, could the other liaison perhaps, like, I'm just wondering, do the two roles overlap? And if you can say a bit more about that.
Absolutely. I think some history here is valuable. So during the pre-COVID times, basically during my first couple of years at SAB, we were really fortunate that we had two board members who had overlapping roles. So one, we had an ETSAB board member who also happened to be a board member to advisory committee, and we had another ETSA board member who also just happened to be the board member of that advisory group. So the cross sharing of information and collaboration was very seamless and immediate. And then these two board members left. So we are still in that stage that we are trying to figure out what is the best way to reestablish this role, because we currently don't have an ETSA board member who is already a member of either committee. One thing that I have observed, because we have reached out to these groups and tried to figure out what would you like, it seems like they are also having some capacity issues, so they have to prioritize their baseline roles within their board, that even responding to emails and making a partnership, we are definitely not on top of their priority list. So what I'd like to reassure you is, as far as the DATS advisory group, we are continually working on it. I know that there's other matters related to DATS that they need to prioritize, and that I reassure you that we're completely working on it, and hopefully we hear back from them soon.
No, that's great. That's great. And again, appreciate that context. Sometimes it takes a while to kind of settle in and pick up those roles. Hey, and then I guess the other thing, just building on the youth council presentation we just had, given that youth transit safety is also on their look ahead, it's a dedicated initiative. I just thought, it's a bit unfortunate that there wasn't as much, but I'm sure that there will be lots of conversation, and I hope and I encourage, as much as possible, as much people are able to continue that cross committee conversations. And then finally, is the luncheon also October this year again?
In the past, we actually organized it twice a year. So October, and I believe sometime in April and May. So we are discussing that in our upcoming board meeting to determine when is the best time to arrange this again. But and from my personal experience, having it twice a year is actually a really great setup, because there's different subcommittees running at the time, and different things on top of the city council's agenda. It's a good timing without it being too far apart.
Yeah, sadly I missed it last year, so I really look forward to seeing everyone this year. Thank you so much for being here, and to your committee members, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Tang. Councillor Stevenson, can you take the chair? Just have a quick question.
I have the chair.
Thank you, Giselle. Just have a quick question around, city, we have put together, I would say, pretty robust transit safety plan in place that is being implemented currently by administration. There are different components to that plan. Have you had any presentation from our administration to you about that plan, what that plan looks like, what the implementation is, and how is it going?
Unfortunately, I don't remember all the presentations topics on top of my head that happened over the past 12 months, but I do remember there are multiple times that city administration presented at SAB, which was really appreciated, because it provided a lot of context as to currently existing projects and activities, and even future planning activities, like the revitalization of White Ave, for instance, right? It seems like a thing that is being thought, that it might take years to implement, but we were given opportunity to give input already, which is fantastic. But if you'd like, I could double check our presentations list. And with the 2 other subcommittees we are launching in the near future, if it wasn't, if a presentation hasn't happened last year, I think it is a good idea that we'll, for us to arrange one of those in the near future.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and then we'll follow with the administration as well, because we are doing a lot of work on transit safety. Obviously, more can always be done, and we will do more. But there's quite a bit work being done. I don't think being properly communicated. So that's why I thought I asked you if you had the opportunity to see that plan. Okay, no, good. Thank you so much for your work and all the guidance and the advice that you have been providing and your committee has been providing to us. Right. Once again, thank you so much to all of you. Okay, and I'll take the chair back. All right. Councillor Rutherford.
Yeah, I'll move receipt of information.
Thank you. We need a second. Councillor Knack. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Anyone to speak? Seeing none, please vote.
Andrew, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised you didn't speak.
We have all the votes.
Display the votes, please. That is carried. Next, we are going to item 5.4, Women's Advisory Voice of Edmonton Committee, WAVE, 2022 Annual Report and 2023 Work Plan. Joining us are Chair of WAVE, Fumi Omole, and also joining us is WAVE member Elson Bailey, right? And thank you so much for being here. Please go ahead, make your presentation.
Thank you for having us. Hello, everyone. My name is Fumi Omole, and I'll let Allison introduce.
Way to test the microphone. Allison Bailey. I've been, with the WAVE committee. Okay, there we go. Yep, Allison Bailey. Thank you.
All right, so I have Allison here with me to help answer questions. And we also have Christine, who's our liaison, and we have Charlotte here supporting us as well. And I believe we have a couple of people online. So we're all here.
You're in full force.
Yes,
all right.
We're very excited to be here and to be talking to you today. All right, so if you want to advance the slide. So quick introduction about our members. We currently have 18 members, and we're supported by our city liaison, Christine Cousin, as well as Courage Fawn, Carissa Lamoureux, and Autumn, and our council advisors, Councillor Jennifer Rice. And a bit about our members next. We have all our members of diverse backgrounds and experiences who contribute 1,100 hours approximately this past year. So that number does not include unofficial networking that we do, reading, preparation, research hours that we all consistently put into the work. Our committee includes Edmontonians of diverse knowledge, experiences, ages, ethnicities, religious and other beliefs, which ensure that the work we do is very well-rounded and considered in all our approach and all our endeavors. Next. So our mandate is to make recommendations to Council about women's gender-based issues and opportunities in alignment to Council's priority. We promote leadership, development to empower towards civic life participation, research, and to provide information. Our vision is to make Edmonton an inclusive and equitable community. Next. And our mission is to remove barriers and promote opportunities to help make this happen. Next. In the past year, Our work has been done through 4 subcommittees. The Policy Subcommittee worked with Vehicle for Hire at the City to action the motions made by the Community and Public Services Committee of City Council on March 7th, 2022. We also worked with the Restorative Justice Bylaw by providing feedback. We worked with Edmonton Housing Needs Assessment by engaging with folks at the city, meeting with the provincial representatives that attended our session. We also partnered with students at the U of A Community Services Learning Center to complete a report on the housing crisis in Edmonton. Our project subcommittee co-hosted the policy competition and counselor mentorship with Parity Egg. We took part in the Human Library event as part of the W.P. Wagner High School Women's History Month celebration. We're also working on building a public website for WAVE. Next, our internal subcommittee focused on orientation and onboarding for our new members and created templates for future orientation and onboarding. They supported the recruitment process and created internal policies. The main internal policy we worked on this year is the volunteer policy, which includes a volunteer handbook to ease communication, set expectations, and create a code of conduct. Our Reconciliation and Allyship Subcommittee directs our learning journey to be true allies. We invited Indigenous elders, cultural practitioners, including Bent Arrow Traditional Healing Society and Wesa Saba experiences. For our main meeting learning moments, we read and discussed on DRIP, the TRC, and the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls report. We also visited Indigenous people's experience at Fort Edmonton Park. We had various departments at the city at our main meetings and our subcommittee meetings as well. Next, we provided input from lived experiences with a gender-based perspective. Some of our accomplishments include welcoming our new members. So this year we welcomed 13 new members in total, and we did have 1 member request leave of absence. Next. Some of our highlights and accomplishments include partnering with the Black Muslim Women's Group and facilitating a roundtable discussion where we had Councillor Wright and Councillor Stevenson and a number of MLAs in attendance. We expect to receive a report from the Impact Research Institute during our May meeting. Some highlights this year include the municipal governance session with the Office of the City Clerk and luncheon with Mayor Sohi, Councillor Salvador, Knack, Councillor Cartmel, Councillor Rice, and Councillor Rutherford. In the community, we reached out to various groups to build relationships and support the work they're doing. We're working to be connectors within our networks and to amplify their works. Looking forward to the next year, our plan is to further align with Council's priority and to support the great work that Council is doing. We plan to be a positive force to help people belong and to remove those barriers so they have the opportunity to contribute. Next. We had a special session a few weeks ago to revise our 2022-2024 strategic plan. Our intention is to bring focus to our work and be more effective in our reach and advocacy. We plan to continue with 4 subcommittees: our policy group, projects, reconciliation and allyship, and we have recently created the executive subcommittee. We also have the ad hoc social media and communications with Parados, our communications experts. We have recommended to Council to have 2 Indigenous women join WAVE to have more Indigenous voices heard. Our focus in the upcoming year includes further work on Edmonton's housing needs assessment, to bring a report and recommendation to council. Next. Some more of the work we plan to do involves transit safety, supporting the anti-racism strategy at the city, a leadership speaking panel, further community engagement through community league participation, surveys, and focus groups. We will continue our reconciliation and allyship journey through learning and meaningful allyship. Internally, we're promoting leadership opportunities within WAVE and integrating our work through the executive subcommittee. We went through our 2022-2024 strategic planning, and we recognized a gap in inclusivity. This provided the opportunity to include gender diverse individuals in our advocacy. Next. Next as well. All right. So we would like to have this added to our mandate for our advocacy to extend not just women, but also gender diverse folks. Also, to ensure that all the resources we need to achieve our mandates are available, we would like to recommend that future counselor advisor assignments include 2 counselors. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation and all great work that you and committee members have been doing. It's pretty impressive to see the list of things that you're involved in and how you're shaping up some of the city's work. Really, really appreciate that. Now we will go to questions from council members. If the presentation can be removed from the screen so I can see the list. Here we go. Councillor Rutherford, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I'm very interested in that expanded scope to gender diverse. Right now, I've had a lot of conversations in my office about, the increase in hate crime, thinking about what's happening in Calgary, even so close to home, with drag queens and the libraries. I wanted to get your thoughts on what that would look like. Are there any current members of WAVE that identify as gender diverse?
Yes. So very recently, we had a survey sent out to our members just for us to have a clear picture of what our diversity looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have 2 folks who, one identifies as gender fluid and one as gender non-conforming.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have members who identify as such.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm absolutely for that. And then my second question is around the policy subcommittee work plan. I feel like there's so many things that are coming forward to council that have intersections with gender and gender issues that I was wondering why specifically these were the ones that were focused on.
Right. So we have been very focused and very intentional about choosing the issues that we work on. So for example, with CSL at the U of A, we had them do a report for us, which included the housing needs. So the issues that we're picking are based on needs within the community that we see. So Allison, do you want to add something to that?
So I recently joined the policy subcommittee, and we immediately sort of noticed that our focus looking at transit safety and homeless issues, there's strong connections there. And we see that as a great advantage of having those clearly connected areas to work on. And just coming up from what we're hearing around the community too.
Well, and I think the reason I asked this is because, as an example, I see the anti-racism efforts on here, which I know is a big focus for this council. And I know that I imagine WAVE has a very intersectional feminist lens that you put on the work. And at the same time, there's a lot of folks that are already working on like that focused concentration on anti-racism. I don't think I can say the same about gender issues, right? So that's why I'm just trying to get a sense of, like, I think you can always overlay that intersectionality, but how do we make sure that that we're getting that focus from that gendered lens?
You're absolutely right. So part of our assessment is that we do have an anti-racism advisory board. We didn't want to take that off of our strategic plan or our focus because it's an important lens to have, especially with that intersectionality. A lot of the women, even on our board, are people of color.
Absolutely.
So that's why we wanted to keep supporting the work of anti-racism, even if it's not a main focus of ours.
Will your work around anti-racism focus on how, for example, that can show up differently or be experienced differently by women or gender diverse folks?
That's exactly it. So, for example, if we're bringing up issues around houseless individuals, how does race intersect with that issue? If we're bringing up issues of safety with women or with people of gender diverse experience, how does that intersect with race? And how are those experiences different? Because sometimes we can collect a lot of data, but if they're not identified specifically with the different intersectionalities, a lot of information gets lost.
Yeah, right. If you're not showing those layers of context. No, I love it. I just wanted to ask that question because I was really interested. And if us as counselors have ideas of where we think maybe a gender perspective should be beneficial for us to be considering, should we reach out to you? Like, who do we reach out to? Our Councillor Rice?
Yes, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to Councillor Rice. We're always available. My email is quite public, so and I'm not shy with my phone number. So
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Salvador.
Yeah, thank you so much for the excellent presentation and overview, and of course for your continued leadership in this space. I actually had a very similar question to Councillor Rutherford. It seems like many, all of the topics that we tackle in some way do intersect with gender and gender issues. And I know like the anti-racism work, community safety, well-being work, transit safety, MMIWG have been highlighted. And I'm just wondering, and maybe I'll just use the community safety and well-being work as an example. How does WAVE currently get involved with informing some of the work related to community safety and well-being? Are there sort of ongoing dialogues between city staff and administration and WAVE? Can you just share what that looks like with me?
So specifically with community safety, we are in the process of getting more alignment and getting more information to be more involved in that work. So we're not specifically, we don't have projects going on in that aspect. The closest we have to it is the conversations that we are having about having a community engagement session where we want to invite our networks to talk about safety, especially safety on transit, because it's such a huge issue that's happening. And just listening today, I think there is a lot of opportunity for us to be able to connect with other advisory committees to be able to do that work together. And we have been looking to our city liaisons to be able to connect us with the appropriate areas at the city.
Okay, that's fantastic. And yeah, I'm also excited about some of the opportunities for kind of cross-pollination between various committees. That could be huge for helping build off of one another's work and sort of supporting one another in these shared areas of interest and shared priorities. And yeah, one other thing I just wanted to mention, I really appreciate your focus on reconciliation and allyship. I think it's really impressive to see how intentional the committee is being, not only when it comes to recruitment efforts and trying to fill gaps, but also creating those experiential opportunities and training opportunities for members. I just wanted to highlight that. I think that's fantastic. And maybe just to turn that into a question, what is your relationship like with the Indigenous Relations Office? Do you have sort of an ongoing relationship there? There's good work happening in that space as well, and could see some good opportunities for collaboration too.
That's great. That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, we have an ongoing working relationship with the Indigenous Relations Office. Part of what we did this time, when we were going into the recruitment process, we shared through their networks to be able to recruit for the 2 Indigenous women that we're adding on. So we are in constant contact with them, and we're always working with them to make sure that the reconciliation and allyship work we're doing is intentional and it's well focused. Even if we have the best intentions, we want to make sure that we're doing it the right way, because up until now we only had 1 Indigenous person. So yes, we have a really close working relationship with the Indigenous office.
Great. That's fantastic to hear. Well, that's per questions from me, but thank you so much for your ongoing work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Salvador.
Thank you, Councillor Salvador. Councillor Stevenson.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation and the ongoing work you're doing in our community. It's so exciting. I want to echo Councillor Salvador's comments just around your intentionality around reconciliation. That's really powerful, and appreciate the focus that you have on that. And also just appreciate the intersectionality that you're bringing to the work, and that really critical lens. And this feels like an unfair question, you know, recognizing the incredible work that you're already doing, and that I don't think any groups, including, you know, often myself and our decision-making body, but looking at intersectionality and the role of class or income as well. Just wondering if, again, that's a really difficult, or, you know, I don't know that anyone has solved that yet, but just wondering if those are some ideas that are percolating with WAVE, or some thoughts on that.
Absolutely, yes. That is it's a really nuanced topic when it comes to class and availability of resources. And also the intersectionality of ethnicity as it plays into class and, you know, availability of resources and access to things that people need. So it is a huge part of the conversations that we're having. It's part of the reconciliation and allyship work that we're doing, because classism disproportionately affects racialized people. So yes, it does play into all of our considerations. Allison, anything to add to that?
Just that we recently had our strategic one day, everybody get together, and intersectionality was really brought up as a key discussion point to kind of think of this as a way to integrate it into our conversations. But yeah, I can't say it's
but
a tricky one that you brought up.
Absolutely, but fantastic that it is present in your conversations and that you're grappling with that. And, you know, to that end, are there, my assumption would be if you identify resources to enable participation, greater participation of those who are maybe experiencing economic barriers, is that a resource request you would come back to us with?
Yes, it would be. To give a few examples, I believe some of those barriers that you would see, especially with women and gender diverse folks, is safety, is transportation, is housing, and also we are looking to work with water warriors in very near future, now that the weather is starting to warm up. So those are the little things that we're doing to help with those intersectionalities.
Great. Well, and I'm thinking specifically around honoraria and how those are structured as well, in terms of some consideration, you know, if that's something that emerges in your conversations, you know, very, very open to hearing about that. Anything else that council can be doing to support your work?
Yes, I think great support that we would love to see is just connection, is understanding the work that you're doing to see how we can support that, because I think those create opportunity. It enlarges the conversation about making Edmonton better for people. So we will definitely continue to bring the information that we gather in the community and bring reports, bring recommendations to council as we see them come up.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for the work and for the presentation tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Now we go to Councillor Dang.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. And I love so many of you from the committee showed up in solidarity and support of each other. I think that's quite beautiful. Long respected the work of WAVE and to come build on that thread of your role in revising policy. I feel like during this past year and a half, every time we discuss something in the GBA plus section, we're always like, have you talked to WAVE? Have you talked to AAC? Have you talked to all these advisory committees? And still being mindful that you're all volunteers, and it's actually quite a lot. So I guess number one, just checking in, like how, there's a lot of policy projects on the go, and I'm sure you also get a lot of requests for review and advice. How are you holding up with that kind of capacity end?
Thank you. So the best thing that has happened to us this last year is having our membership numbers increase. So with that increase, we went from having 15 to having 18 maximum, 20 maximum. With that increase, we've been able to, spread the work around. There's a lot of equity happening within our equity board, our committee. So we are able to do that work in subcommittees, and everyone is engaged, everyone is passionate about the work. So one person doesn't feel quite as bogged down with the weight of everything. So that's how we're doing with capacity. Allison, do you want to talk about capacity? Sorry, I just wanted to give Allison a chance.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, just wanted to jump in that one of the things we worked on with internal subcommittee was developing a volunteer a policy and approach, as Sunmi has already gone through. But I think that's where we see a strong advantage too of figuring out what their committees do, and where volunteers who can't commit to the full years of being on the committee and all the meetings, but still want to be part of what WAVE is doing. So we're really wanting to build up on that opportunity for both engaging more people and sharing our work around.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's reassuring. I'm really happy to hear that. And I'm happy to hear about some of the, the outreach you're doing with mutual aid. Yesterday we've had a very long conversation about encampment, and there was a really good community-based research that actually talks about how Indigenous women have they have very different strategies and reason and motivations for camping, and it was incredibly insightful, and it highlights the importance of gender-based analysis, essentially. I think I wanted to just ask a little bit about your, this piece around establishing community presence. And of course, you talk about social media. And I actually think you have a really strong social media presence. I know it's very active compared to a lot of committees. And you're doing a lot of school outreach, a lot of speaker events, but I'm seeing your budget for last year, hosting was a really small proportion. And just wanted to make sure for 2023, your funds are sufficient to do that work.
Thank you. That's a really good question. And we have Mike here as well, who directs our budgets and our funding. I believe this coming year, we're really confident that we're going to have the resources that we need, because Mike has assured us that we will. Mike also assures us that if we ever start to run a little low, we can always come to you at any time during the year. So we're very confident in our work. Right, Mike?
Awesome. And Mike will deliver. Great. No, I appreciate that answer. And I look forward to seeing some of your speaker series. But anyways, I just want to say, it actually reminded me of conversation I long had when I worked at Status of Women with colleagues around the importance of the work around changing hearts and changing minds. And that's what, that element in your report kind of reminded me. So keep up the great work. And I really look forward to connecting with many of you soon.
Thank you, Councillor Tang.
Thank you, Councillor Tang. Councillor Stevenson, can you take the chair, please? I just have a couple of questions. On the recommendations, there are two. One is to add to the mandate gender diverse individuals, right? Does that require amendments to the current mandate given to you under the bylaw, right? So that is necessary, right? That's what you said?
I believe so, according to our consultations with the Office of City Clerk.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will follow up on that with the clerk's office to see how that can be accommodated, and with the second recommendation to add 2 council members as advisors that require amendments to the bylaw, right? According to your understanding.
I don't believe it requires an amendment to the bylaw.
Okay.
I think it just requires a council.
Just making a council making a decision. Okay, we will definitely take that under consideration at our next when we are looking at reappointments and all that, right? So thank you so much for advising. We'll follow up on the first recommendation with City Clerk's office. Yeah. Once again, I'll take the chair back. Thank you once again for your hard work, everyone. Appreciate that. Keep it up. And we are here to support you whichever way we can. Oh, sorry, Councillor Rice?
Yeah, I'm going to close.
Oh, go move. Okay, move the recommendation. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
And before I move recommendation, I really want to express my gratitude, my thankful thoughts to the committee and as a councillor appointment to this committee, and specifically as chair, Ms. Amel, and you mentioned we had 13 new members. So you can imagine with 13 new members, and from that new form the committee and everybody working together and get the structure set up, get the priorities set up, get the project moving forward, and then also for all the subcommittee formed doing the work. I really want to say and your leadership and play the really key role and in this achievement and for your report in 2022. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your leadership. That is demonstrate our women's leadership. That is one of the mandate in this piece, and also promote and set that example for this committee. And then I want to say this committee and members are all the volunteer members. And many of them, and most of them, they have to work, even including yourself, have a full-time work and take your time off, come to the committee and then have the meeting, organize the work. So that is really, really appreciated. And then that is also reflect our council's value. And this council, as you know, we have like 8 female and council in Edmonton history the first time. And then I think this support in our council and then is fully support and strong support here and for work moving forward. So I just want to say that very clear. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues. And I know some of my colleagues, including myself, we meet some policy competition winners and to have that one-on-one mentor and mentee and relationship and conversation. I was so excited to meet the 2 of them and then to nurse their passion, to nurse their learning, like eager to learn and to get involved and with municipal government, what we're doing. And I think that initiative and then without everybody in the council support, we cannot do that. As our chair already mentioned that, I want to thank to my colleagues for that as well. I think as Mayor already mentioned, and you have our support and for the membership, and then we approved to up to the 20 from 15 to 20. Hopefully this will give you some like capacity to address that capacity challenge and to do and to implement the work plan and you present for 2023. So I'm looking forward for 2023, the work exciting opportunities and how we can make more connection and between the council and the committee.
Thank
So
you
I'm
very
going
much.
to move that's the April 12, 2023 Office of the City Clerk Report, OCC 01713 be received for information.
Thank you, Councillor Rice. All right, we have a motion on the floor. I'll second that. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Anyone to speak? Seeing none, please, sorry, Councillor Rutherford.
I apologize. Councillor Rice, are you going to close still or no close? No, then I won't say anything. Then I won't say anything. I guess just again, really hooray for the gender diverse expansion into the mandate. 100% have my support on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rutherford. So please vote.
We have all the votes.
Display the votes, please. That is carried. So please, big round of applause and claps to a wave and everyone at the wave. Cool. Thank you. Okay, next going Accessibility Advisory Committee 2022 Annual Report and 2023 Work Plan. And joining us is the Chair of AAC, Tania Le Riviere, joining us virtually. Here you go, Tania. Nice to see you. Go ahead, please make your presentation.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Mayor Sohi and members of City Council. We do not have a presentation tonight, but you have received a digital copy of our annual report. My name is Tania Riviere. I am the chair of the Accessibility Advisory Committee. Our committee comprises 15 volunteers with diverse experiences and perspectives on disability. The AAC has 3 subcommittees: policy, community engagement, and a less formal input subcommittee. Our council representatives are Councillor Chang and Councillor Wright. Zachary Week chairs the policy subcommittee, and Dr. Sherry Clacken chairs the community engagement subcommittee. Sherry will be leading the committee because of advancements in her career. We thank her for her leadership, compassion, and contributions to the committee. We welcome Dana and Moore into the position. Last year, we welcomed 7 new members to our committee. Everyone showed up, fully engaged. We will have 2 more members joining in May. I will touch on highlights from last year. First, the Community Engagement Subcommittee developed and showed an accessibility presentation with City Hall School and the Edmonton Federation of Community Leagues. We supported an International Day of Persons with Disabilities event, created an action calendar for National Accessibility Awareness Week, developed a year-round accessible parking awareness campaign, a thematic social media calendar, and engaged a third-party social media provider to increase engagement. We had a guest come to speak about the Indigenous disability experience. We supported provincial initiatives that would have a trickle-down impact, including the Essential But Forgotten campaign, accessibility legislation in Alberta, re-indexing of AISH, and Bill C-22 Canada Disability Benefit. 2 long-standing concerns for our policy subcommittee are paratransit and accessible housing. In March last year, we spoke to the Vehicle for Hire annual report about improving accessible taxi service and safety. We partners with the Women's Advocacy Voice of Edmonton and representatives from disability organizations, including the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Association, Spinal Cord Injury Alberta, the Millwood Seniors Association, and Lael Abbas spoke about her younger brother who was seriously injured on a school bus because the driver didn't properly secure his wheelchair. We were concerned about the time it was taking the city to implement essential changes for accessible taxi service and safety. A city commission assessment determined the need for centralized dispatch, driver incentives, rider subsidies, and driver training. These corresponded with the recommendations from the AAC. In March 22, also put forward motions for administration to develop a work plan for driver training with involvement from WAVE and AAC. Thank you. We have continued to meet with Vehicle for Hire as they update us on their progress, and we continue to provide feedback. We feel like our input is respected, and we thank those in Vehicle for Hire and City Council for taking action to improve the taxi experience for people with disabilities. That service model, responsiveness, reliability, and funding have been consistent concerns for AAC. That's an essential service for those who rely on it. It is a lifeline for its users, and we want to ensure there are no deficiencies in service. One of our primary concerns is affordable and accessible housing. Housing must be suitable, accessible, and available to and for everyone. We reviewed the city's affordable housing needs assessment study. We were not surprised that the data determined a need for accessible housing. We met with the city's shovel-ready group, toured the Savita Londonderry affordable housing site, and designed infographics for public education. We learned that providers do not oppose building or retrofitting to be accessible, but the parameters of accessible housing need to be defined. We advised on snow and ice control policy changes, participated in policy 529 review of the immigration and settlement policy, met with Edmonton Transit about audible bus evidence, provided advice on Millwoods Transit Center Pride Walk, continued to be informed about policy C602, and brought forth and advised on accessibility concerns at Clairview Community Recreation Center. We are thrilled to see that work begin soon. We spoke at the budget hearings in favor of enhanced snow and ice control service standards, the sidewalk maintenance strategy, permanent funding for on-demand transit, affordable housing and homelessness prevention, and the community investment operating grant. At present, we have hired a strategic planning facilitator to help us align our goals for 2023, and it has been very beneficial. Thank you to everyone who has respected our collective advisory voice and responded in kind and in progress.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya. So that covers the presentation, right?
Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you so much. Questions, colleagues? And thank you so much for joining us and waiting for through the whole evening. Really appreciate that, Tanya, and all the hard work that you and your colleagues at the advisory committee are doing. I do have some questions, but I'm going to go to Councillor Tang first. Councillor Tang, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Tanya, for the thorough presentation and for the ongoing work you and your committee members are always doing. A common theme that came up tonight through all the committees is around the intercommittee collaboration. And I know that during our group's conversation, this has come up as kind of a strong interest as well. And so when looking at your strategic plan, I think there's some obvious policy areas that will intersect nicely. But I was wondering if you can comment on the group's conversation around collaboration with other committees.
Yeah, I think that has been an incredibly beneficial thing that we did in the past, particularly when we combined forces with WAVE and the safety issues with taxi. I think we could be doing a better job, being a little bit more proactive in having those conversations, especially, with all of them, WAVE, that's advisory committee. I think we could be doing a better job of that. But it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And as with all the committees, I encourage that dialogue to continue. And I was also wondering, you've noted there are a number of issues, that really intersect with the provincial legislation advocacy work. Can you speak a little bit more about that and how AAC has really, intersected, between or connected with partners or colleagues at the provincial advocacy piece? Because I think my understanding, some members, they do participate in some of those advocacy tables too, right?
I do. So yes, I can say yes for certain. It's that fine line. We know we're an advisory committee to city council, but there are provincial initiatives or concerns that do have that trickle down effect for Edmontonians, and will affect legislation and policy at this level. So we are mindful of what sort of provincial initiatives you would take, and to ensure that they do have that impact. It's been beneficial for like myself being on another provincial board to have sort of a greater depth of resources to bring back to the committee. I do think that is one thing that we somewhat lack at this committee level. While we can access the resources, it's just that time and that effort from a volunteer committee to do all that work to bring them to our committee.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, highlight that also for colleagues too, because who may not know that many members do have, wear multiple advocacy hats, and I think it's important to know that many of these issues do intersect with multiple levels of government, and I really appreciate kind of that widened lens. Certainly, I always learn new things being part of the meetings. And I feel like we talked about, I guess my last question, a bit more specific on some of the key areas you talked about. So with housing, for example, same with some of the other policy areas. There's, you've had an input at the needs assessment level, you have presentations, and you're still being involved in an ongoing way, correct?
In terms of accessible housing?
Yeah.
At what level?
In the same way that you are involved with other policy conversations. I just wanted to make sure that, there's ongoing relationship with the administration.
There is, but I feel this committee would like to have a bit more of a robust conversation and a more intentional conversation around accessible housing. Whether that includes, housing department and planning and bylaw, but how can we make going forth our housing at the very least visitable? So it's all Edmontonians have an option to housing equally.
That's great. Intentionality is important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Tang. Councillor Wright.
Thanks very much. Hi, Tanya. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I'm just, like in the report, you do indicate the sort of the work that you've done with the city manager and that, and I'm just wondering, has there been any discussion with the city manager in regards to community safety and well-being? From an accessibility perspective?
Yes, we did have that conversation, not this past year, but the year before, and contributed to those pillars of community safety.
Okay.
And that's actually something we should follow up on.
Okay. Maybe we can talk about it at the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea.
Awesome. And then I was also, I saw that like your social media numbers and that are up, and I'm just wondering, is that a concerted effort that you've done to try to promote that?
Yes, we actually have a third party doing our social media. It has been beneficial in terms of getting more traction. Obviously, we would like to see more. And we've discussed maybe using different social media platforms. But ideally, because that does cost us money, we have mentioned in the past about the possibility of an individual within the city in communication doing a social media, that taking on that position for all of the equity seeking committees, because it's in order to do, as we all know, a really effective social media campaign, it takes a lot of time and a lot of strategy. And it's really, I think, asking a lot from volunteer committees.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. And I think, have you talked to any other committees, any other chairs about that idea?
Yeah, there were some rumblings about it. Okay. And again, we can pursue that further.
Okay, just interesting. And I'm just also wondering, I've seen Zach on the news as well. Is he doing that on behalf of the committee, or is that just his own sort of personal?
No, he's doing that on behalf of Voices of Albertans with Disabilities.
Okay. And yeah, and I just want to thank you and the committee. I think Councillor Tang had mentioned, learning something at each and every meeting. And I think being on the committee has also provided me, a greater awareness of some of those barriers and that for people with disabilities. So thank you very much for yours and the committee's work and continued work. And that's all I have.
Thank you to both of you for your support.
Thanks.
And thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Stevenson.
Yes, thank you. I was so impressed by the range of activities that you were up to, and I think it's such a really great annual report in terms of how it's laid out and the great work that you've highlighted. The only thing that stood out to me, or something that I'm very excited about, so really appreciate the presentations you're doing with City Hall School, with EFCL. The Accessible Festival and Events Guide with large festivals was also really exciting. I was wondering if you were working with the city's civic events group and our granting group as well to see if those standards and requirements can potentially become part of the grant application process, so that people who are planning to hold smaller scale festivals can at least even have guidelines to help inform the design of their festivals to make them more accessible.
That was an intent. Our committee specifically hasn't really delved into that, but perhaps like Yogi and Heather would be able to have a little bit more insight into that. But we did do a review and an update of that guide.
Great.
In order to share that with other events. And I actually have talked with the Fringe and other events like within the city to learn that their accessibility is becoming top of mind.
Great. Well, I think, that's something that we can potentially follow up on with city staff, just in terms of seeing what opportunities we have to influence other festivals that are being undertaken. But great to have that baseline work done. That was it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Stevenson. Can you also take the chair? Just have a quick question, Tanya. I was contacted by the province's advocate for Albertans with disabilities, Gregory McKinnon, and I had a long conversation with him and his office. They were seeking input into the development of the provincial legislation on accessibility, and we suggested to them to reach out to AAC to seek more input and more deeper input, and also engage with through you with people who are on your committee with lived experience, right, with the mobility challenges. I don't know if I know you're involved, but have they extended an invitation for you to the committee to advisory committee to get involved or seek input?
There was a survey that went out to the committee in which we could individually provide our input. The deadline was pretty shortly after, I believe, you met with him. So as a committee, collectively, we didn't, but I believe we can be in touch with them if we choose to provide a collective input.
So you can do that on your own, or do you would need some assistance from us, or?
No, we can do that.
Okay, you can do that. Okay.
On our own.
Good. I'm really, that's a pretty exciting work that province is undertaking on the accessibility legislation. So see where it ends up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also tomorrow, Marie Renaud is holding a session on Alberta legislation, accessibility legislation as well.
Okay, great. All right, thank you so much. I'll take the chair back. Really appreciate the hard work that you're doing, and you know, the input that you're giving to us in the related issue around accessibility and improving services. 'Cause, you know, one thing that we have a goal at City is to build an Edmonton for all of us. That means that our program, services, and everything that we do should be accessible to all Edmontonians, including those who have a mobility issues and challenges, right? So thank you. Your work is very, very important to us. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Councillor Wright, to move.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'll be happy to move that the April 12th, 2023 Office of the City Clerk Report OC C01715 be received for information.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Tang.
And I'll happily second that.
Councillor Wright seconded that. Sorry, I didn't see that because I thought you exempted it. So, yeah. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Anyone to speak? All right, so please vote.
We are just waiting on a couple of votes. Councillors Rice and Councillor Tang.
Yes, it's not come to my
Oh,
screen.
sorry about that. Thank you. We'll mark that in for you. Councillor Tang?
I thought I just voted yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it wasn't just showing up on our side. We have all the votes.
Display the votes, please. That is carried. Thank you, Tanya. Okay. All right. So, clap. Here you go. We forgot for the first three. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yes. No clapping? Oh, really? Oh, I had no idea. I have to get up. I got to refresh my rules. Okay. Okay. All right. Any bylaws? None. Private reports? None. Motions pending? None. Notice of motions and motions without customary notice. Any notice of motions and motions without customary notice? Seeing none, we are adjourned. And do not clap.